Hello everybody, welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today we're going to be talking about two new Vision cards, one with an Esper, and that is the Raging Earth Titan, who comes with his very own Titan Esper, and the 4 Warring Lords MR Vision card. So we'll discuss the cards and whether or not they're actually worth your hard-earned Visio, or maybe you should just pass and save for the next opportunity. First up is the MR Vision card, the 4 Warring Lords, and this is a very interesting card because it gives you AP, and I'll discuss how that works in just a second, but overall it's got some HP there, and it's attack oriented, and you don't get very much magic at all, only 24. The unit effect is to increase attack, and you can go up to 20%. It's not bad. And then the party effect is increase critical rate by a total of 20 if you can max this card, which is not nearly as hard when it's an MR card. So really there's not a lot here. I don't think that increasing the critical rate is something that everybody is looking to do with a party effect, because you then want to have a whole party that is oriented with critical hits, and that certainly sounds really cool because you're doing more damage, you're generating more AP with critical hits. There are a lot of upsides to that, but then you have to have a lot of units with high luck and high dexterity, and going against units with low luck. So it's definitely kind of an interesting effect, and we don't have a lot like it. So there's potential here. I think that maybe I'm not as versed in building a critical team to evaluate this, but because it's an MR card, we don't have to think about too hard whether or not we want it. You are going to get it eventually. So the AP there, that is part of our new theme of having more stats on vision cards rather than just HP, attack, and magic. And when you get more AP, it means that you're going to start the battle with more AP. So if you're a mage, you start with 75% of your max AP. If you're a red mage as your main job, you will start with 50% of your max AP. And if you are any other job with your main job, you will start with 18% of your max AP. So for example, if you have a lovely Orlando and you want him to start with as much AP as possible, well then you'd want to put on an Esper and anything else that gives him lots of AP, and that's going to increase that 18% of his max so that he starts with more AP. So this would be one way to do it, but if you have to put the whole picture together and see how much AP you can get to, but you need to get this card up to a certain point to get a lot of or to get any AP from it at all, because 18% is not a very large number. So if we take a look, if you pull this card and you go buy the shards, what are you going to get at 2 stars? Well, you're actually going to get 23 AP. You're going to get 14% attack, 15 critical rate. So this actually looks like a pretty solid in terms of just what it gives you. Like this definitely looks like a solid card to just have, especially if you're not super PvP focused and you just want to experiment with having some critical hits and stuff, and trying to get your AP up. I think that you'll have to do the math for yourself to see with your particular unit and your particular Esper, does the 30 AP from a maxed card make a significant difference? So you can just add 30 onto whatever your max AP is, and then take 18% of that and compare it to if you didn't have the card, and see if this is something that would be worth it for you. So I'm not 100% sure if it's worth it, but it's definitely a welcome and interesting addition to the game. So we can compare it to our Cactar card, and you can see that that also gives critical rate, but it gives way less. So you're going to get 11 less at max. You can get agility, which is really solid, and this is also a magic oriented card, but you decrease your defense. So I mean, that's the thing with these cards, that they're meant for different units. So the party effect means that you can equip it on whoever and you can move it around, so that means that the bestowed effect for these two cards isn't as important, because you're going for a critical rate up party, then you're just going to be using this this top Warring Lords card over the Cactar card anyway, so they don't really compare that well. Okay, next up we have Titan, and this is a very interesting card because it got a global upgrade. And this is where we're confused because the preview image did not have this bestowed effect that you see below. So we'll just go through the card and kind of discuss what this all means. So you can see that the card gives you a lot of HP, gives you a good amount of attack and decent amount of magic, and then also gives you dexterity. And dexterity will affect your chance to hit, it will affect your chance to crit, and it will affect certain units' chance or ability to deal damage with their regular attack. So dex is good. The unit effects increases pierce attack. So this is where we're confused because they didn't actually show this unit effect on in the preview. It just showed the party effect and then this limited time bestowed effect above. So does that mean that they just forgot to include it? Does that mean it doesn't get it? We don't know. This is called a global upgrade. That leads me to believe personally that we're getting both. Otherwise they would say it's like a switch or a patch or a balance or something. So I think that we're going to get this limited bestowed effect, which is for water and earth units that use spear equipable main jobs, you will get attack up. And that's going to be Ramada, Lorenzo, Eileen, and Glaciella will be able to get that extra effect. And then all 4 of those units will also get the pierce attack up, hopefully. And then the party effect is Man Killer on physical attacks only, which is really, really solid. You can only get it up to 25%, but that's still really good. And it's going to be great for anyone not running a lot of magic units. It's definitely a very strong effect, and I'm pretty excited about that. So if we take a look at comparable cards, well, there isn't any card that gives you party effect Man Killer. So we can take a look at something like Echoing Screams that will give you slash attack, and it's kind of the same buff. And again, you know, someone's gonna get at me in the comments if I'm off here, but the way that slash attack will work, it's gonna add that modifier on to anybody that's using slash type damage, whereas the Man Killer is going to just add that modifier on to anyone dealing physical damage, so it won't matter that they're doing slash or pierce or projectile, etc. So the trade-off here, because you're getting with the Titan, you're getting a much easier ability to kind of build a party that has all sorts of different damage types. You're going to get less of a modifier. So the Man Killer was 25% on the Titan, but the slash attack on Echoing Scream, well, that's going to be 35%. So you get 10% more potency for using something like Echoing Screams over using something like the Titan, but then you have to use a slash party, whereas with Titan you could have one person that's, you know, pummeling, one person that's shooting with the pistol, and then the third person that's got a spear and or a sword. You could equip a slash party with the Echoing Screams and the Titan, and then they get a bunch of boost, but it's definitely going to be a very cool card. Like, you're going to have a piercing unit if you're using Titan, so I guess that last example is kind of dumb. So we also have the Odin card, and Odin is gives Human Killer just in general to whoever has it as a unit effect, and it's a very small number, but just to show that effect does exist in the game, but we don't have it on a party effect except for Titan coming up here. Okay, so we can also take a look at this card. If you were to just pull it once and get 2 stars, where are you going to be? Well, you're going to get good stats, nice little dex boost there, that's important. You're going to get pierce attack and then 14% Human Killer. So it's pretty good. I mean, again, the way I frame this is for people that are not maxing vision cards, you're probably not facing the competition that it takes to max a vision card. So this is going to be just fine for you. I think that this is a nice little boost to whatever pierce unit you can put it on, especially if they are earth and or water. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to talk about the Esper, and this is a cool Esper. He's got a decent HP, definitely attack oriented, and then okay agility. It's not like the highest agility. It's not Odin or Siren or something, but it's good. And then you're going to get some lightning resistance, which is always very nice. And he has a evocation spell. Okay, so the skill tree, this is everything you can get on the skill tree added together. I find it easier to look at this than the actual skill tree. I always can't do the math on the fly. So what's really interesting here, we'll go through it. I've got little highlight pieces here. So 15% pierce attack up, that's great. We already have Siren and Ifrit as the UR Espers that have that as well. So that's fine though to have that. Obviously this is a pierce oriented guy, but the increased spirit 15. So we didn't have this yet. We had two cards, two Espers. We had the Death Machine and then Golem that will give defense up, but we didn't have anything that increased spirit. So now we have Fenrir and Titan that are kind of magic tank based Espers, or just anybody that you want to get some spirit to. So that's very cool indeed. And then instead of having the increased evasion rate, we actually have increased critical rate. So this is going to again lend itself to our crit team. If you have the MR card, if you have this Esper, you can kind of build your crit. And then one other thing I thought was kind of interesting is the Lightning Killer, and this is not new. Like there's other Espers with Lightning Killer, but what I like about this is, you know, maybe like there's some Orlandos that are pretty tanky, and getting them down in one hit is a really big deal. And if you were like specifically hunting Orlandos, then maybe it would be fun to experiment with something like Lightning Killer. If you put this on someone that is you know, that will be hunting Orlando, maybe they need the pierce up, they could get like an extra 30% here, so 15 from pierce, 15 from Lightning Killer, and then they're also resistant to Orlando with their 10% lightning resistance increase. That could be kind of cool to try out, you know, if you want. All right, so that's going to be it for the video. And just to kind of recap, I'm going to go ahead and say that this Warring Lords card is a maybe, because it's super interesting, but I don't know enough about crit to recommend it. And I mean, really it's a no. Like, you're gonna get this eventually. If you're pulling for Titan and you get it, that's great. And then I would say if you get this, buy the shards, because you can get AP to one of your units. I think that's definitely a good choice. I don't think you should just go out and spend for it though. So that's something to consider. And then the Titan, it's a yeah. I mean, we get another Esper with new panels, the Spirit Up, that we don't get anywhere else. You get a very, very good card that will help any of your Pierce units if it has the Pierce attack bestowed up. If it doesn't, and it just has the Earth Water thing, and you don't have Eileen or Glaciella or Ramada or Lorenzo, then maybe that affects your decision. In the end, these are just recommendations. You have to do what you want to do. You have to follow your heart and believe in yourself, and all your dreams will come true. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.